All right, guys. Today I'm sitting down with someone who truly represents what it means to combine systems, heart, and hustle. Mauricio Lacerda. Man, welcome. I'm super excited to have you guys. If you don't know Mauricio, I mean, he is almost like Arizona real estate royalty at this point, right? You've seen his name. He's consistently ranked in the top 1% statewide. He has a 3-time 40 under 40 honoree and was just named Realtor of the Year in 2025. Man, once again, Mauricio, welcome, man. Welcome to the Laughton family.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Dude, I am so stoked to get to know you better, and offer some tidbits to people that are out there new to the industry. I mean, you've had massive success in the time that you've been in this industry, and really stayed focused in certain aspects of your business, man. And so I want to get started. I want to kick off with some questions. Let's start the early days. Like, I always want to understand people's what developed their heart, what developed their passion, right? So in understanding your early years, like growing up, what did you want to do? Was it real estate? Like, were you born into real estate royalty?
Yeah, so when I was a kid, I wanted to be an inventor. Okay. I don't know what got me onto that, but I was always thinking of crazy ideas. And I think the first one that my claim to fame is when you see the Carvana vending machine.
Yeah.
I feel like I drew that when I was 6 years old. I just didn't patent it, I guess. So missed one there.
That's awesome. Were you like one of those kids that took everything apart?
I always took apart pens that I could never put back together. Not a good sign for an inventor. And I was a big Lego guy. So.
Okay, yeah.
But no, never. It was never something on my list. My grandfather was actually a realtor, and it was just a job that he had, and it wasn't a glorified thing. It was just, that's what he did.
And was he here in Arizona as well?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So I remember the briefcase that at the time I didn't know what they were, but had triple carbon copy contracts back when that was a thing.
Yeah.
And
MLS books, I'm sure.
Yep. And then in the back seat of his truck was the laminated book with all the different maps and understanding how to read that. And he flipped houses, and I got to go and help him, clean those out and stuff. So I got to see some of it, but again, at the time, it was not even on my radar.
Yeah, I don't know if many kids go, you know what, I want to be a real estate agent, right? Like, it's just something that...
Never dressed up for Halloween as a realtor.
That is so true. Actually, I'm going to make my kids dress up as a real estate agent this year.
Yeah.
That's a great one.
There you go.
Maybe like what do you think, like a C21 jacket or something?
Yeah,
because that's noticeable, right?
Yeah, that's 3 sizes too big.
Yes, exactly. Like a comb over part. Yeah, I love it. Well, I think that's what we envisioned when we were kids too, is like what the real estate industry was. There was nothing really sexy about it. Right. I think it got more and more sexy, like you were saying, the flips, and that's what got me into real estate, was the investment side. My grandfather owned a few rental properties, and I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna buy a bunch of rental properties and live off cash flow and never work for anybody else the rest of my life, right?
Yeah.
It didn't quite work out like that, but that was the vision. Yeah, yeah. And it didn't start out that way. I think I wanted to be a veterinarian or something like that. So super cool, man. So what first pulled you into real estate, and what did that leap going from? I know you were a sales manager originally, and then decided to get into the actual sales portion of it. So
yeah, so I mean, 16 years old, first job. I got a job, first job at the mall, and I was in retail for about a decade in retail management, and it was just slowly killing me. Yeah. I joke, and I worked every weekend, and I worked nights, and that schedule just started to really wear on me. There's some irony in the fact that schedule is what got me out of that job, and where I ended up. But yeah, I was feeling dead end and not wanting to move to another state and not pursue that further. And I still remember I was hiking in Flagstaff with my girlfriend, and she said, you should do something different. And she makes things happen. And a couple weeks later, a family member that became a huge mentor for me offered me a job to do Facebook ads 20 hours a week and help for a big team here in the Valley. And a few months later, it was a full-time job as marketing and Facebook ads and doing some like video content stuff. And a few years later, I was a sales manager working with agents.
Wow. So at the point that you moved into real estate, you started doing Facebook ads, content. Had you had experience in that?
No, not at all.
So I mean, I love that too. Like whenever I talk to top producers, it's also like a confidence they have that it just permeates everything. Like obviously you were probably nervous, like, and you're accepting a job where, you know, normally if it wasn't somebody that got you into it, you would have to lie on the resume to get, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that was part of the frustration at the time was I was pretty well established in the space that I was in. And, you know, in my early 20s, I was doing well. And it was everything I looked at was going to be a big step backwards is what it looked like. And I enjoyed this marketing idea of things, and everything I looked at just felt like I was starting over. And this felt like just felt very serendipitous at the time.
Yeah.
And I think at the time, Facebook ads in particular were a lot more unknown. That was back when Facebook still knew everything about you, but you could actually run ads using that information back when some of those laws and protections weren't in place.
Yeah.
And yeah, it went from 20 hours a week to, well, then I was writing blog posts and articles on that, you know, for that team's website, and it just kept growing, and I just really leaned into it. And then I think ultimately it was one of the best things that ever happened to me, because also with doing all the content for this team and, you know, these top producers, I was just surrounded by it, and the words that they used and the conversations that had, the sales meetings, like I wasn't there with I should do that, I was just there like trying to get my soundbite or my clip for a video that I was going to have to edit later.
Yeah.
And years later, I still find myself using those exact words that I heard 100 times, or that was in a video that I had to edit for hours. And
That's so cool.
it was this osmosis that took place.
You took the words out of my mouth. You're learning through osmosis, right? Like, and that, I think people miss that today. We have a lot of people, you know, almost individualized out there, trying to make it on their own, do their own thing. And I tell you, man, like getting around people that are getting around people that are in the activities, listening to the conversations, you can learn so much, man. Like you gained a wealth of knowledge just being in the office and being around people, and then recognizing that. And that's so stinking important now.
Yeah, and so then from there, it evolved into a sales management role, and I was sitting with agents every day, having meetings on how to, you know, connect with leads and get them on the phone and set appointments and do deals. And yet I had never done it myself. It was all, you know, theoretical and, you know, to a sense. And then COVID hit, and all of us shifted, right? And a big part of my role that shifted was I absorbed an ISA's job in addition to the other stuff I was doing. And so I was taking all the inbound calls, and at the time we were really heavy in like Zillow leads and things like that. And so I was taking these leads and setting appointments for agents still. I was not an agent, but I was suddenly having to do the things that I was sitting with agents telling them that they should do. And it was both humbling and also very clear that this was something that I was good at. And in fall of 2020, I went full-time as an agent, and something clicked. It was the light bulb, you know, shone very bright that this was where I was meant to be and what I was meant to do. And that first 4 months, I think I did like 14 deals. That next full year was 2020. So what a great year to be thrown into things and maybe have a little bit of skill with it. And I think I did, you know, almost 50 units that first full year.
Crazy, man.
And it was, I always say I was extremely lucky, and I certainly worked hard to get more luck, but it was good timing, I was in the right time at the right place doing the right thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think one of the things that I heard consistent in there is you had some ISA experience too, right? So you had experience on the phone, you had experience in coaching, scripting, understanding what how consistent you have to be in this business, right? In order to what makes top producers, right? And so you had all that exposure. I always go to the book Outliers. I forget who. I can't believe I can't remember the author, but Outliers and the 10,000 hour rule, right?
Yeah.
You can become an expert in it once you get 10,000 hours of time within an industry, right? And so the quicker that you can do that, the more you can absorb yourself into something, and the more focused you can be in it, the quicker that you can see exponential gains,
Yeah.
right? And so you did that, man. And I'll tell you too, like there's so many instances of people that rise up through the industry that don't start in the licensing part of it, right? So one of our best producers to date, Nelson Corella, started out as an ISA, was an ISA with us for 4 years before he branched out and started doing regular transactions, and he is still that 40 to 50 producer a year. Right?
Yeah, it's sometimes it's just you got to be at the right time, right place at the right time.
Yeah, agreed. All right, Mauricio, man, you mentioned it, crazy numbers that you've closed, 100 deals in the last 24 months. Like, that is no small feat. I'm curious, like, what does it take actually in the day-to-day to achieve those kind of numbers?
Yeah, so it's always different. There are times where there's a lot of escrows at the same time and it feels like the house is on fire. And there's other times where it's just consistent production. And they both look different and they both take a different level of focus, I think. And I think the biggest thing that people overlook is they do one or a couple of deals, it's exciting, there's good momentum, and then they take a step back to like enjoy it and revel in it. And while I do think it's important to find the balance in things, what I have found is that every time I would kind of let off the gas or take a step back to enjoy it or to like recharge because I was tired, rebuilding that momentum again actually took twice as much work as the first time around. And it's a tough thing to find that balance, but it really is just finding the time to recharge within the momentum and keep that momentum is really huge.
Yeah, I agree, man. It is. You have to find those little moments instead of taking, 3 or 4 days off, right? And you get those moments too, but sure. Finding those moments in the day to also recharge, right? I'm curious though, like in your calendar, is there anything that is like non-negotiable? Is there something that you do on a daily, a weekly basis that you say, man, this has a big impact on my business? Yeah,
so I think this really comes from my retail management sales days of there was a lot of things that were tracked every day that we looked at every single day. And so I have a spreadsheet that has every single listing, name, address, it's got numbers, and then every escrow that's active, it tracks it all. And then once it goes to closing, it tracks that, address, the client, the closing dates, all the details, title, lender, all the different pieces. And if you looked at it, you might think that I was a crazy person because it's colorful. There's a whole bunch of things. I made it myself, not an Excel guy. But I look at it every single day, anywhere from 1 to 12 times a day. And I really think that keeping that front and center was a huge part of it. Because at any given moment, you could ask me, oh, well, who bought a house on September 15th, 2022? And within seconds, I could tell you, oh, it was this person, it was this address, this is the day we were under contract, this is the day we closed, here's what I made, all the different pieces, right? And keeping that so front and center, and then all the escrows as well, the habits and the activities that take place are directly impacted. Because when I see that I've got a bunch of escrows or not a bunch of escrows, again, the activities change. Do I need to be more focused and do I need to sit down and what paperwork needs to get done? Or when that number starts to wean, it's like, okay, who's next in the pipeline? So that's a really big one. And then the other big thing is, I call it my list. It's a note on my iPhone. It is not a fancy thing. It is not in my CRM. But it is a list of basically all the buyers and sellers that are transacting that I anticipate transacting in the next 30, 60, 90, 120 days. And while the CRM is so important and a different aspect of it, same thing, it's this evolving and constantly live list of my pipeline.
Yeah.
And same thing is, especially in 21 and 22 when I was still brand new at this and the market was cooking and I was doing the most deals I had ever done, you start to realize, okay, for me to close 5 deals in a month, 3 deals, 10 deals in a month, whatever it is, for me to close these number of deals in a month, I need to have X number of people on my list. Yep. And as that list starts to get smaller and smaller, there's a direct correlation. It's the only leading indicator in an industry where oftentimes all we have are lagging indicators, right?
Yeah.
How much money is in my bank account? If I don't like that number, there's nothing I can do today that puts money in my bank account tomorrow. No. Where if that list is light, 30, 60, 90 days from now, I might not like what's in my bank account. Yeah. If I don't have a closing this week or this month, again, that's a tough thing to change tomorrow, but I can do activities that get more escrows. And so always stepping one step back, that list in combination with my spreadsheet are two huge pieces of trying to create leading indicators of what's coming.
I absolutely love that, and I did something very similar, but I think what it tells us is everybody wants to know what the secret sauce is. There is no secret sauce in this business. It is consistent action, and it has exponential impact over time. I did something very similar where I had my list of my pipeline list, and so it was always I had to have 10 people, and I had a whiteboard. I didn't do it in notes on my phone.
Whiteboard works.
It started out pre-iPhones, by the way, and so I had a whiteboard, and it always had to be 10 hot people on the list. Who am I gonna list next? Who's the buyer that's gonna buy in the next 30, 60, 90 days, or who's gonna list their property? So there had to be 10 on that list. The other thing I think is super important that I hear top producers do is they're always communicating. I heard you as we walked in here, you were on the phone working on a transaction. Everybody that I know that does really, really well, it's great business, they're phone animals, man. It's like always communicating, working in the transaction, working in prospecting, working with you just have this way of also juggling all of these communications. Do you feel like that's your day as well too?
Yeah, I mean, my phone is always in my hand, and I charge my phone 1 to 3 times a day, right? And there are also days when, my day off today is from 11:16 to 2:15.
Yeah.
Great, and I'll enjoy it, and let me chill. But I think that my clients know that if I'm available, that I will be there for them, right? Yeah. And on the flip end, my clients know that when they can't reach me, it's because I'm busy. Yeah. And that sometimes that means they can't reach me at 2:00, and sometimes they can't reach me at 7. But they also other times can. And there's just this, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
You figured out how to balance it, right? Yeah. The other thing so you mentioned this closing tracker. Once again, my wife and I, we got in the business around the same time, did something very similar. So we had the whiteboard of 10 hot prospects at any given time. But I always wanted to have 10 in escrow, right? There was this 10 and 10. Those were our bogeys.
Love that.
Right? 10, it's super simple, right? Mm-hmm. But we're going to have 10 in escrow at all times. We made that commitment back in 2013, and we've never missed it since then, right? So simple.
I'm telling you, it's your business is like a boyfriend or a girlfriend. The more attention you give it, the better it treats you. And the less attention you give it, the more distant it is from you as well. And so my big thing that I have, similar to what you're talking about, in the entire time that I've been a realtor, I have never had 1 month where I didn't have at least one closing. Yeah. Not a single month. And there have been months where it was like, oh my God, there's 12 days left in the month. This is impossible. But again, the more attention you give things, you find a way. You always find a way. And that might not be the case for everyone, and that's okay. But I mean, there was months, like I said, that I had days, and then all of a sudden it's a cash purchase for a piece of land. I think the closest I ever came was a $10,000 piece of land that came together in 7 days. And I really thought that I was finally gonna lose the streak, and the streak is still alive.
Good.
But it's the attention that you give things. Yeah. The other thing that I think is important to note, because you listen to top producers that talk about 10 for 10, do a deal every month. I think for a lot of agents listening that aren't consistently doing a deal a month, you hear, oh yeah, I do this and this and this, and I close 5, 10, however many deals a month, a year. It can feel really distant and, oh, that's them, that's not me. And so I think that these same principles and these same ideas apply to an agent that wants to do 1 deal a month. Yeah, and have 1 deal always in escrow. Yeah. And what you then start to realize is the same thing that you did to get to one deal a month or one escrow at a time always, that same logic and that same practice applies to ramp up to 2, to 4, to 5, whatever it might be. And so instead of like shying away from it, I think take the pieces and apply them and get to that first one deal a month, to 2.
Find your bogeys. That's what I said. It's like I said non-negotiables to you, but find your bogeys that you're going to stay consistent with, and just keep doing the activities that continue to promote doing those escrows, whether it's 1, 2, or 10, right? Like you just got to continue to do those activities.
You also talked about always being on the phone, and I think another habit that I have made just so ingrained in me is that anybody that I have more than one conversation with is saved in my phone. And so, cool, if I'm gonna talk to you once and never again, like maybe you don't get saved. But anyone that I'm having an active conversation with, or that I might call again or might call me again, I make it a practice to save them in my phone. And there's a few things that are like how I hack the system for myself is any client in my phone goes in as Bob Smith - client. And then if necessary, there's a parenthesis with additional detail. But I'll be honest, I'm not the best CRM guy. I'm not the best. It is not my core competency. I have found ways to make it work, to produce the way I want to produce. But sometimes the best lead follow-up I can do is not sitting in my CRM and my phone while I'm 8 minutes early for an appointment. It's opening up my phone, starting a new message, typing the word client, and scrolling through my list because every client is tagged, and be like, oh, I haven't talked to John in a while. Click, type up a quick text, send it, go to my appointment. And you can't do that if I can't find John.
Yeah.
And if I can't find John, then he maybe gets lost in the shuffle because how many messages a day are we sending and receiving, right? And so it's little things like that. Or if somebody reaches out to me a year later, 2 years later that we talked, and I don't have their number saved, and somehow that message got deleted, which I never delete, but sometimes it happens, then I don't know who they are, and now I'm backpedaling. Where if they're saved in my phone, at minimum I know, okay, they were a client.
Yeah, and I love that. I think I coach something along those lines too. And one of my go-to text is, hey, I was in your neighborhood today. Didn't have time to stop by, but it made me think of you. How you doing?
Love that.
Super simple, right? Like, and if it's a past client or a client, like you're going to get a response. 90% of the time, if not more, you're going to get a response on that.
Absolutely. And you can't do that if that person's not saved in your phone.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it. All right, man. We all got crazy client stories. I think there's those fulfilling moments where we've got somebody across the finish line that really never dreamed of home ownership. I know you've got those stories, but is there one that reminds you why you work so hard, man? Why you do what you do?
Yeah, so the story that comes to mind is I had some first-time home buyers that were so excited they just had their baby. It was right around holiday Thanksgiving time, and they really wanted to close in time it would be makeshift, but host Thanksgiving in their new house. And we had gotten them a great deal. We had done well with Binzer, like everything was going well. And closing day comes, the seller had to sign out of state, so docs were getting overnighted. Like we needed everything to go perfectly. And somehow in the shuffle, the signing paperwork got held up at a FedEx distribution center by the airport.
Yep.
And it was not going to get delivered until, at that point, instead of the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, it was not going to be delivered until either Friday, and then we wouldn't close till Monday. And client was just devastated. And the story is less about me and anything I did. Actually, to me, it's what makes having great partners so important. But I mean, I was on the phone with everybody. And finally, the title rep decided to get in her car, and she drove to downtown Phoenix by the airport to this distribution center. And somehow, I don't know how, strong-armed closing paperwork out of their hand, drives back to North Scottsdale to record in time. And I was able to meet them an hour later with champagne and excitement and keys, most importantly.
Wow.
And they were able to host their Thanksgiving and their family that weekend. And it's like these are the moments that you realize that what we're doing is so much bigger than just any individual transaction.
Yeah, I love that, man. That's a good story. Yeah.
It's huge, yeah.
Cool. Mauricio, you've obviously successful, man. You could go out there, you could do this on your own. And from the outside, I mean, you've achieved so much. I'm just curious, what were you looking for that you didn't have yet? Like why join the team?
Yeah, so I was with a team for almost 9 years before I made my move, and that was my big decision, was do I go solo and do my own thing, or do I find another team to be a part of? And I, did a lot of looking, and ultimately the difference that I found with Laughton was not only the leads and just the reputation here in the Valley, but I think it was the blend of systems that let me operate the way I want to operate, but having a great like support of systems behind me, and then also the camaraderie and just the connection that was like tangible from day one with everyone I talked to. Like there was something in every phone call that was so clear of like a passion to being a part of the team. And that was with staff, that was with team leads, that was with other agents on the team. Like it was just so clear. And I think that this industry and this job can be such a like lone ranger, lone wolf feel that is tough. Like I think a lot of agents struggle with that more than anything else. And that sense of community or camaraderie or whatever you want to call it is just so powerful. And to me, it is also a big part of what I think helped me grow my business and is part of what I'm looking for to continue to grow.
Yeah, I love that, man. Yeah, that's the things that we kind of promote ourselves on we have leads, right? Like, I mean, there's no doubt that attracts people, but with that comes support and coaching, right? And so we can give you all the opportunities you want. But really, if you don't have the support to continue to scale your business, if you don't have a vision of what's next in the business too, and like how to grow and continue to build wealth and build your business, I don't think anybody would actually stay with us. So,
yeah, and then I think the other thing that was very clear is a lot of teams in the Valley, or a lot of teams that are out there in general, this is a one-size-fits-all. If you want to join our system, great, we'd love to have you. But if you outgrow that shoebox, then great, we wish you well. And the other thing in the conversations I had was with you and with some other people was, what is next? And how do we figure out how we help you get there and still be a part of it? Yeah. And so for me personally, the team within the team is a huge thing that I'm really looking forward to. And same thing, when you join a lot of teams in this industry, you get pigeonholed, and when this idea of building your own team happens, you're forced with one of two choices. Either I leave and go do my own thing somewhere else, or if I build it here, someone is going to like take the hit. It's going to be the team member that it's more expensive to be a part of this team. Yep. It's going to be the team lead that has to eat some of that benefit, or it's the encompassing team. And it was very clear that the Laughton team saw the value of growing and was willing to share in that cost, we'll call it, to help these teams within teams grow and to build something bigger.
Yeah, I think one thing I've learned over time is that producers like you, top performers, they have this idea, they want to know what is next, right? And they want to have a growth path. And if you as a team leader or as a broker don't have an answer to that question or help with them achieve that path, then they're going to create their own and you won't be in it, right? And what if you're a cultural fit, we enjoy working together. Why am I not going to try to figure out a model that works to keep those people part of your community, right? And make it advantageous to them as well too, and help them continue to grow, because man, there's nothing worse than losing somebody you really like, you have a connection with their cultural fit, but they've outgrown you. Right. I don't ever want that to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
The other thing that I think is not talked about is so many top producers and like we'll call them hunters, great salespeople, their core skill set is exactly that. And for many of them and me, the operational, the paperwork side of things, like some of those things just aren't my or our core competencies. And so having the support with the TC, with all the different systems in place for listings, even within the team, it lets people like me focus on what we do best and not get bogged down with the things that are not my skill set and are not what I should be spending my time doing while I'm trying to grow. Yeah. And so that was another big thing that, like, that to me is the gasoline that helps me get to the next level.
Love it. Love it. Mauricio, you've served on association boards. You've been recognized as one of the best, man. With that perspective, what do you think the future of Arizona real estate looks like?
Yeah, I mean, I think that when I look at the next 5 to 10 years here in Arizona, I think we're on the precipice of some pretty like exponential growth. We're seeing it in the dots on the map are starting to run out and the edges of the map are starting to fill. Yeah. But when we look at the massive investment that's happening with TSMC and all that will happen over the next decade up in that North Phoenix corridor, and you're seeing it in the Southeast Valley that keeps, going further and further. We're seeing in the Southwest Valley, the Northwest Valley. Yeah. There's not a part of the valley you can talk about that isn't expanding, other than the parts that have already been filled in. And even that, we're seeing this wild redevelopment and growth. And so I think what we're going to see is continued population growth. I think we're going to continue to see just more and more development, and it's going to all be about how we can help people manage, figuring out what makes sense for them. As we look at interest rates, as we look at all the things that buyers are facing right now, it's going to be navigating what makes most sense for them, not just today, but for them and their families tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree, man. We might be a little biased, but the economic opportunities right now with tech companies, as you were saying, with TSMC, not just that plan, but all the ancillary businesses that come from that too, and what it builds. We're seeing it in the Northwest, North Phoenix, Southeast, Southwest. Like everywhere you look, there is opportunity from big businesses moving in, and that is just going to add to population growth. But we have opportunity here in Arizona where we do just the city sprawl is still, it provides a ton of options for builders, for developers, things along those lines to be able to manage that, right? And still do it in an affordable manner, right? How do you see technology and relationships working together, not competing in our industry?
Yeah, so I think there's two sides of that coin that you can look at it from. One is from the agent level is, I think we can agree that now more than ever, our attention as agents is being pulled in every single direction by somebody with a new shiny toy to help us do better on social, reach more people, this, that, or the other. And the challenge that I think we face is focusing in on the one, two, three systems that you actually want to focus on, and how can I actually implement them? Because I think the death by 1,000 cuts is, let me try this, let me try this, let me try this, and your focus is spread so thin that then nothing actually gets implemented.
I agree, man. Shiny object syndrome is a real thing in our industry. The way that we've conquered that and the way that I coach for agents to conquer that is be really specific in what your goals are, right? And so let's say it is, I want to build a social presence, or I want to take 20 listings this year. I always go a 1-3-5 model, which is 1 goal, 3 strategies, 5 tactics, right? And with that, if it is capturing 20 new listings, one of your strategies might include a technology, but you're not looking at any other technologies besides things that help you achieve that goal. Yeah. And then stop there, right? Spend 6 months in that technology, spend 6 months, whether it's, an AI SMS campaigns or fellow for seller nurturing or whatever it is, like spend time in that. And don't have 5 different systems you're working on that really none of them move towards the goal that you set at the beginning of the year, right?
The other side of it is from the consumer side. And I think that consumers have so much more access today to information with AI and tools like ChatGPT and all the other platforms. I mean, my AC went out a couple weeks ago and I got on ChatGPT. I told it what was going on. I showed it some pictures. And it helped me diagnose it on the fly. I knew which parts to order, and that weekend, with a little bit of trial and error, I fixed my AC, and it's working.
That's awesome.
And truly, it was as simple as like taking a picture of it and saying, what am I looking at here? And it walked it through, and it was great. It still can't, make a document for me half the time or make a photo, but it helped me diagnose and repair my AC. And that's what our consumers have. And so the more that we can lean into some of these things, it just becomes one more piece of like resource we become for them of, hey, did you try this before you call and spend all this money on that, or whatever it might be. And it's here, it's not going away. And so I think we can shove our head in the sand and hope it goes away, but it's just not.
No, it's definitely not. I mean, we're at a revolutionary point in our lifetimes, right? Like this is going to be more impactful than the internet.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see where it goes. I think we never operate out of fear, right? We embrace and we move forward. We always figure out a way what we need to do to adapt. But it's the agents and the consumers that really lean into the technology that aren't going to get left behind, right? And so tell that to my agents. It's you've got to embrace it. You've got to use it. You should be utilizing it in almost every aspect of your business. Every SOP, I want to see some sort of element of AI integrated into it, right? Like, and you're almost forcing it a little bit just so you start learning where it really, really has an impact.
Yeah.
And then I think so. From the consumer point of view, I use it for everything. It's my go-to. I do my gratitude journaling in AI now.
That's
because it gives me feedback. It's like I said, hey, respond to me in a therapeutic feedback manner, and I'm like, it's some of the best stuff that I get on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I'm curious, man, where do you see yourself leading the way? Like, as an individual agent, or maybe as you're growing your own team within the team, or just here on the Laughton team, where do you see it?
Yeah, I think the biggest ways are in the small moments. It's when you're sitting in a team meeting and somebody's talking about a deal they just lost, or an offer that they're in the middle of a counter back and forth, or the agent's not responding, or whatever the scenarios that come up every day, that when we do this alone, we have no resource and we just don't know what to do.
Yep.
When there, as often as one-offs come up, these one-offs have always happened. They've happened a million times before. And so being able to be a resource to other agents in the office and helping them grow with you, to me, is one of the best parts of this job. And then on the flip end, being able to come and share, like, oh, I just tried this and it worked, or this agent was doing this and I said this and it got them to do what I wanted them to do. And those are the moments that help the people around you grow, and in the process help you grow.
Yeah, agreed. All right, man, curious, as I look forward 10 years from now, what impact do you hope people say Mauricio had on Arizona real estate?
Yeah, when I look back at the impact that I would have liked to have made, the hope is that I helped a ton of consumers ultimately impact their life in a positive way, whether it was creating wealth through buying a home, whether it was, getting that move that they were super scared to make. And then on the other side is that agents that interacted with me can say that I helped them grow in one way or another, whether it was in one deal or a lot of deals, however it might have looked, that ultimately that they are glad that they came across my path.
I love that, man. Yeah, that's such in our core values. That's the impact that I hope to have is one, that I can have a ton of impact on team members, other agents I interact with. We operate with integrity, and that we can help our clients, build great relationships with them, and we help them achieve something in their life that they see the true value in, right? And so that's the fulfilling stuff. Is like,
absolutely.
Once you can help everybody else, man, like you think it's about, your goals are to grow your bank account every year, and then you realize that's not quite as fulfilling as actually just helping people.
And in the process of doing that, the other things come with it.
Agreed. Yep. Agreed. All right, Mauricio, it's time. We're doing some rapid fire questions.
Okay, I'm ready.
So don't overthink it.
I'm ready.
Just first thing that comes to mind. You can't screw it up. All right. Where would you dream property, dream house, where would it be in the world?
Man, it's got to be on a beach somewhere. So if it's not like an awesome place on an island, then maybe a cool like dream listing in like LA, like on the beach.
Okay, I like it. I like it. I like it. All right. One system you can't live without.
My iPhone.
Yeah, no doubt. Oh, this is a tough one. Okay, you had to give up one or the other, or you love one or the other, coffee or tequila.
I have to give one up?
Yeah, let's go.
Oh, you're right. Oh, I'd give up tequila before coffee.
Me too. There's a lot of other options besides tequila. Yeah. What's one piece of advice you'd give a new agent starting today?
Figure out the type of business you want and surround yourself with someone that is doing that type of business.
Love it. Favorite way to recharge outside of real estate?
I play soccer.
Oh, really?
And a lot of online chess.
Really?
On my phone, yeah.
You get along with my kids. They both love soccer and chess.
There you
go. So I'm like, I can't do either with you. So, all right. If you weren't in real estate, what career would you be in right now?
Man.
Retail?
No, God, no. God, no. I think I would create a product and have a startup.
A form of invention.
Yes. Yeah,
so
there you go.
Get your yes. Yeah, okay.
Full circle.
Your go-to hype song before a big negotiation.
Oh man, it changes all the time, but probably "I Lived" by One Republic.
That's a good one too. All right. One thing clients always compliment you on.
Either that I'm overdressed or how much of a house nerd I am.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that. I did say today I'm like, man, I feel like I should dress up. Best advice you'd give a brand new agent starting today?
Get into more houses now. Knowing what you're actually walking into and previewing homes is huge.
Love it. Love it. Mauricio, man, we're so grateful you're here, man. I'm excited to see what the future holds. I'm excited to help you grow. And man, I think there's a lot of business we can do together. So
I'm excited.
Welcome.
Appreciate it. Glad to be here.